People want stronger relationships, they want stronger communities, and they want their kids to succeed in sports. This podcast is a place for honest conversations, real stories, and practical guidance, all centered on helping kids grow through sports. If you're looking for stronger relationships, stronger community, and athletes who grow not just in skill, but in character, you're in the right place.
YSF forevermore.
Hey, welcome everyone to the YSF podcast from the sidelines. I'm your host, Jim Miller, along with our social media director, Aaron Meyer. And today we are going to talk with Nick Nitzel, who has not only been a father in the program, but Nick also has been officiating a lot of sports, but YSF for about 28 years. The Youth Sports Foundation, based here in Muscatine, Iowa, is all about kids having fun and learning sports and enjoying themselves.
CBMS is proud to be a continuing sponsor of YSF. For more than 45 years, we've helped both consumers and their lenders navigate the loan closing process.
Aaron, welcome to the podcast today. I'm excited about today's guest.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, me too. I think our listeners are going to have a whole lot to learn from his expertise, especially coming from, he's got 28 years at pretty much every level from youth to high school, right?
Absolutely. He's been in the junior high school level. He's done basketball. He's umpired baseball. Nick has seen a lot of youth sports on the officiating side, but he's also been a dad and he's also coached. So he brings a wealth of knowledge to the youth sports arena, and I can't wait for him to join us.
Fun fact for our listeners, his son Dan was actually our very first podcast guest, our very first episode, and he was one of the original YSF athletes. So this is just going to be, I think, really special for people.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, Aaron, is building communities, families. It's about creating experiences with kids and going through over time with your kids. And Nick has done that. And I tell you, with the help of Nick, he has seen a lot of athletes go through YSF. So, yeah. And there he is, wearing his Green Bay Packers shirt. We won't hold that against him. I'm not even going to go there today. Welcome, Nick, to the podcast. We thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here. I appreciate it.
So, Nick, let's get into some credibility here. Tell us about yourself, how many years you've been officiating, all the levels you've done, all that good stuff.
Well, I'm married, have 7 children and 23 grandchildren, so that keeps me really busy.
Wow.
I started officiating when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I am 70, so still at it. And the first game I ever umpired was for my future father-in-law and my future brother-in-law at a Little League game. I was 14 years old, and they were in desperate need of a base umpire, so they asked me to do it, and did a really good job except for one call. Absolutely blew it. Absolutely blew the call big time. First baseman came off the base. I thought he was going to be out, so I called him out. Of course, like every good umpire, he stayed with the call. And your brother-in-law came running out of the dugout about 2 steps, and my future father-in-law put his arm up and said, "Stop. He's 14. Stop." I'll never forget that. He just chinned that horrible call, and I really admired that. Really admired that.
So, yeah, so my brother was going to come out and talk to you about the call.
Yeah.
But then my father stopped him and saved your bacon.
Yes,
And still, even after that horrible call, Dad still let you marry my sister.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We never
just
More on that later.
spoken it again.
So you mentioned baseball. What other sports have you officiated, Nick?
I still do basketball, 7th and 8th grade, girls and boys, fall and winter. I do, of course, youth sports football. I do the middle school football also in the fall. I've done baseball, softball, and then I've done some soccer, but just little kids. I'm not much of a soccer aficionado. So they've seen some adults standing out there with a whistle and, so I did a little bit of that.
And you've had kids go through our program. So you've seen it from both sides, the officiating side, and as a parent, you've seen it from the parent side. So that's
Yes.
kind of a unique perspective that you hold here. So that's pretty interesting. So,
Yeah, it's a great program. It really is.
well, thank you. Thank you.
So, Nick, I'm curious, when was the first experience that you had with YSF, whether it was officiating or with one of your kids? What year was that? What would
Well, it
that
would
have
have been
been?
the first year they had tackle football. My son Daniel played for 2 years, And we were so excited to finally get tackle football in Muscatine. The equipment was great. The coaching was great. Everything about it was tremendous. And got nothing but good things to say about the program, about how Jim has managed to somehow keep this instructional. Yes, it gets a bit competitive, but for the most part, it is instructional, and most people treat it that way.
That's awesome. So you've officiated at all levels. Have you coached as well?
Yes. Yeah, I've coached
Yeah.
baseball, softball, basketball. I still do some coaching for the Y and things like that. I had a chance to be on a couple of high school crews for football, which I would have dearly loved, but I decided against it because having 7 children and 4 of them boys going through the program, the Muscatine High School program, I didn't want to be refereeing in Burlington when my kids were playing in Muscatine. And so I decided against that, and so I just stay local. And it is getting harder to find officials, especially at the local level for the middle schools and things. And they were using arbiter now, where they used to have a lot of guys stepping up who wanted to continue to referee the middle schools. Those guys are getting long in the tooth and decided to give it up. So, there's still a couple of couple old war horses around like me, and Donnie Briggs and Bob Frere still do it, and they're great guys. Really enjoyed.
So what are your thoughts on youth tackle football, Nick? Because that even within our own general families, some are for, some are against.
Mhm.
You hear a lot of people say, I don't want my kid to start tackle football till 7th grade. You've seen it on the field. I mean, you're right there in the trenches
Mhm.
with all the little kids officiating.
Yep.
28 years of watching YSF, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, and then junior high. What are your thoughts on tackle football?
I think it's great. I have no problems with it. I know there were some times fairly recently where the concussion thing was coming up and injuries and so on. And I guess that can happen. At this level, they're not strong. They're not fast. They don't hit that hard. And so I've only seen one injury in all of my time of officiating for 28 years in the Youth Sports Foundation. And that was a green stick break on a kid's arm when he ran out of bounds, fell down, and broke his arm. Again, that can happen anywhere. I had a daughter do it on a swing, fell off a swing. That one is not a big deal. And so I haven't seen kids really getting rung up, getting hurt, wobbling back to the huddles or anything like that. Just low speed, low strength. And I just think it is a tremendous program. Top-notch equipment, and the kids all seem to have fun, and so do the coaches.
Well, I was going to say, you got a chance to take a look at our warehouse and saw the equipment that we use, but you've seen it before. And I think, like you said, I think we use the best equipment for the youth that we can do, that we can buy. And I agree with you, but I'm kind of biased.
Sure.
I don't think they hit hard enough, and we don't see a whole lot of injuries and concussions. As they move up, I mean, you take your 5th and 6th grade experience and add that to your 7th and 8th grade experience, it's night and day, just from
It is.
there to there.
It is. It still is pretty low speed and low strength, and the techniques that they use are very, very good. The coaching all the way through is really good, and I'm very impressed, especially with the youth sports coaches, because you'll see 3, 4, 5, 6 people on the sidelines. I know they've all gone through the training. And these kids know how to tackle. They do just a great job with those kids. And I just could not think more of this program than, if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. If I thought it was dangerous, if I thought they shouldn't be doing it, I just wouldn't be here. And I think it's a great thing.
Sure.
And there's more to it than just the football games on Sundays. There's the practices, there's the camaraderie. They're outside playing. They're not sitting in front of video games. They're not going to get hurt sitting in front of a video game. Say stub their toe on the way to the refrigerator. So I think it's a great thing.
That can happen. I mean,
well, sure.
Having had a catastrophic foot injury myself,
I remember it well. I don't know how you came back from that.
You stub your toe, that could be bad. So
that's right.
Nick, something that came to my mind as you were talking about, people think it's dangerous, and really kids they're not hitting hard enough, or that's not really what this is about at the younger level. Well, we know part of why the Youth Sports Foundation was started was so that kids would be prepared for the high school level when they got there. Mm-hmm. So do you think there's kind of a correlation between kids starting, and do you think it's dangerous for them to not learn how to tackle properly? Or if there's a kid who's too timid and he's, when they finally get to high school?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you don't start out early, you're way behind by the time you get there. Dorf is not waiting for you. They're starting,
No,
and they've got 4 years in before some of our kids ever show up to 7th grade. And I think that puts us way behind. Some of these kids don't even know what the two hole is. Well, you're going to know if you started out in the youth group in the youth sports. So I think it's really important they start early. And then there comes a time to make a decision. Maybe it is getting too dangerous. Maybe you don't, they call it a collision sport or a contact sport, but it's not. It's a collision sport. If you don't want to collide with people, then you better not be playing, because that's when you're going to get hurt. Decisions can be made later on that once you get to the high school level, in my opinion. So I think
Sure.
every kid should try football for a year or two and see how it goes for them.
That's kind of just to piggyback off this question and comment. I always tell people, if you don't want your child to play football because you're afraid they're going to get hurt, don't have them play past the 8th grade. Parents will say, well, my son I want him to not start till 7th grade or high school. Well, okay, just know this. When you get into high school, bigger, faster, stronger comes into effect.
Right.
You've got coaches that are getting those kids into the weight rooms. They're getting them stronger, faster. They're teaching them. I mean, high school football is a job in itself. Any high school sport is. Kids spend a lot of time preparing themselves, getting stronger for that sport, and they're going to get better at it, So if you're scared of your kid getting hurt about playing football, stop at 8th grade, because from 8th grade below, it's pretty tamed. So
yeah, and I think part of that also is just they want to put it off. It's just an easy way to say, well, I don't want my kids to play at this level. We'll let them start in 7th grade or 8th grade, or we'll let them start in high school. Well, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a mistake. But you know what? If that's their choice, they're the parents, and so they have to decide.
It kind of reminds me of learning to drive in the Midwest in the winter. And you can tell people on the road who, they're comfortable with it. They may not love being out there, but they understand how to handle it. And there are people who are just very cautious and can be more dangerous for people, right? Because they don't necessily know.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good analogy, Aaron.
I'd be scared. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing we're talking about.
You come up with some great gems all the time. Just gonna tell you.
Some great gems, some great gyms.
Yeah,
that's right.
Know.
I wonder if Jim fed that to you. Maybe, I don't know, wrote it down for you. But like I said, this football program, I think it's a program. And so there's so much more than just the games. It's the camaraderie. It's getting in the weight room. You get kids in the weight room and they start getting bigger and stronger. Their confidence level goes sky high because they're looking better. They're feeling better. And I just think there's so much to be gained. You make new friends, you're studying together, all these things you're doing. And just even the youth sports, you're greeting new kids that you've never met before. Coaches, they're these tremendous guys, and you get to meet them and they become friends with you. And there's just so many positives to this whole thing
Well, it's a family atmosphere.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
When I coached football, and I got to be an assistant under your son, Ben, in the high school level. That was the key. There was everybody. We're a family. We've got everybody's backs. We're going to stick up for everybody. You might have a shy kid who's not real popular. He gets on that football team or any sports team, and he's got a whole new set of friends, and they're going to watch out for that person.
Yeah.
And they're going to make sure he feels comfortable. And that's what you do when you play sports.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So I'm curious what changes you've seen from those younger levels up into middle school, because that's the level you've been at as well and still are, right?
Yeah. I still do the middle school also. Football is my favorite. It's a hoot. I do love doing basketball. At that level, it's a bit unique because you can't or should not be making all the calls because there's a little bit of holding on every play. There's grabbing, there's, mouthpiece maybe hanging out. We don't throw a penalty flag. You stop the game, say, son, put your mouthpiece in. So, the safety level, you just let the kids play. Just let them play. Yeah. You're not there to see us and how smart we are and how many calls we can make in a game. I know sometimes the coaches get upset when calls are not made. If they don't affect the play, we try not to make the calls. Just keep the game moving. Let the kids play. Let the coaches coach. Let the parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters just enjoy the game.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions you see from parents watching these games?
A lot, but I do think some parents believe this is their first tryout for a D1 scholarship. And if they don't do well, then it's someone's fault that they they didn't do well or whatever. And I think you need to take it for what it is. It's instructional. It's, again, the camaraderie, everything about it. And we're out there just trying to do the best job we can as officials. And also the officials that we have, at least in Muscatine, is Jim and I came up with a plan to invite high school football players to come out on Sundays. I wanted to get them on the other side of the whistle. And I tell them in our meeting, I said, listen, you're used to playing the game and being upset with the officials. I said, but now you're going to be on the other side of the whistle. And so you're responsible to throw the flag. You're responsible for the blowing the whistle, stopping progress, marking balls. I said, this is a whole new world. And I said, hopefully you'll like it, because a lot of the officials are leaving this thing. And, we need these young guys to come up behind us. And this is a great place for them to learn.
So I guess a hard question coming up. What's it like? What's it like dealing with coaches and parents as an official at the youth level? Because I deal with it every fall, and you deal with it, I know. What's it like dealing with the parents and the coaches?
99.9% are fantastic. A little bit of business once in a while, but for the most part, we have conversation prior to the start of the game, and they adhere to that pretty well. And I tell the head coach, you are responsible. I expect exemplary behavior out of you, and you'll be responsible for your coaches, your players, and your fans. And if you see something getting out of control, you need to take care of it. And most of the time that is done. If it comes down to me, then the penalty flag has to come out. We don't want to do that. Just stay calm, your problem, take care of it. Like I said, for the most part, if I was having problems with parents and coaches, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm too old to put up with that. I'm not doing that. And they're great. I mean, they're great.
Yeah, because especially on a Sunday when you could be watching, the Chicago Bears, you don't want to be out on the field. If it was that bad, you'd want to be home in your chair, sipping on something cold, watching the Bears. And so, for the most part, the fans aren't a problem. I would say
they are not a problem
because they're so far away. It's just sometimes you get those coaches and every coach sees everything better than the officials sometimes. Mm-hmm. So
absolutely. Well, I tell my officials, listen, when you show up, they're going to put their arm around you, chum up to you and go, hey, you played a heck of a game Friday night. Way to go. I'm really proud of you guys. Great job. And I said, but as soon as you miss what they consider the first holding call on the outside, I said, you're not going to be their buddy right at that point. And I tell them, as long as it doesn't get personal, as long as they're just talking to you about it, if they told you maybe you missed a call, that's fine. If they get personal, you let me know, and then we will take care. We've had to do that a few times over the years.
That has not happened.
In 28 years, it's been very minimal. I mean, the coaches are great. The parents are great. I get people thanking me after the game's over with all the time, and that's nice. That's nice.
Nick, I'm curious, since you've officiated so much, but you also have attended games for your kids and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you think makes, and obviously you're biased because you've done this, but what do you think makes a really good official or a ref?
To not over officiate. You should not be noticed. Don't make any marginal calls. I'll go to the youth sports. You can have a kid on the right side of the line, wrap both arms around the player and throw him to the ground, whatever, hold him. But if the play is going to the left, let it go. It's not affecting the play. Now, some people might disagree with that, but otherwise you're going to be constantly throwing flags and interrupting the game. So if it affects the play, and I tell the players the last couple of minutes of a close game, I tell the officials, put the flag really deep in your pocket, hesitate on the whistle, and don't affect the outcome of this game if you can help it. And so if there's like a holding call at the point of attack where the kid probably would have made the tackle and he gets taken to the ground, you got to call that. I mean, that's just what you have to do, and you have to be willing to do that. And but the last thing you want to do is take a touchdown away from a kid, because I've seen it done at the high school level, and it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. Some marginal call takes a touchdown away from a kid, that maybe a defensive lineman makes an interception or whatever, and then some flimsy penalty is called, and I hate that. Absolutely hate that.
So on a lighter topic, what is the funniest thing you've ever experienced in all your years on the field, whether it be a baseball game, football field, or basketball court? Because you've officiated everything. What's the funniest thing you've ever experienced?
Are you leading the witness, Jim Miller?
I'm not. Well, because I don't know what he's going to say. Who knows what he's going to say?
Right. Exactly. Take your time, Nick.
I've seen so many funny things. And some of my old coaches and I, we get together and we start talking, and 30 minutes later, we're still telling stories and we're laughing and stuff. One of the funniest things, and I'll relate it to Youth Sports Foundation, was I was refereeing a football game and this linebacker came up, and I mean, picture perfect, jumped in the hole, shoulder pad in the stomach, wrapped up, drove the kid to the ground. And I mean, it was just like you would teach it. And I walked up to the kid and I go, "Hey, son, that was a tremendous tackle." And this kid standing next to the pile says, "That's no son, that's a girl." And I looked, and it was Danielle Frere. And she looked at me with this big smile. And I go, "Great tackle, honey." I was caught off guard so much. I still laugh about that today. She was a
That's
tremendous
awesome.
player, tremendous athlete.
She was a tremendous player.
She
One of the
really was.
hardest hitting football players we've ever had come through
I
the
love that.
program
Yeah,
is
but I mean,
Danielle
the
Frere.
tackle was
So,
perfect. And so
yeah,
lots
that's
of
awesome.
funny things. And so I
didn't-
just pinned that one down. But yeah, lots of fun.
Didn't a couple of kids get their helmets locked together one time? Their face masks.
Yeah, the guys got their helmets
I mean-
locked together and ran up there, and they both just stood there. They were fine. We unhooked them,
Yeah,
and we
it
all
was-
laughed. And
it was funny.
yeah, we've had some
I think that was-
oddball things.
Yeah, some great moments.
Yeah, people getting wrapped up in the chain gang over there and untangle them. And yeah, just, when you get kids involved with things, they're going to say funny things and do funny things. And yeah, just keep it in perspective. It's all for fun.
And that's, you know what, that's the key right there, Nick. It's youth sports. Kids are going to do funny things. I remember a kid that I was coaching baseball one time, and he hit the ball and he went to third base. He was so excited he got a hit instead of going to first. You laugh about it.
Yeah.
And, he was just excited to get a hit. And he hit the ball and ran to third. So,
Yeah.
But that's
Just
what youth.
It's
That's what
fun.
youth
You
sports is
see
all
a kid score a touchdown and they're just so excited. And of course they're watching television, so they want to spike the ball or they want to dance or do whatever. We don't do that, right? We tell the kids
Right.
don't do
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
But the flags are not coming out. We warn them. Now, if they do it again, okay, we've got a problem. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But just to see a kid get a hit, get a base hit, and they're so excited, or make a basket in a B game, it might be the only basket they ever make. And
Right.
it's just, it really still gives me joy to see a kid succeed at these
Yeah.
levels. And you don't know how much longer they're going to play, but they did well that day. And that's exciting to me. I still enjoy it.
Jim, I would love to end with this question. I don't know if you have more, but
I don't. I'm out of
Nick-
questions for him.
okay. He's answered it all. Expert guest.
Yeah.
You've mentioned this a few times. It's so hard to find officials. So could you speak to that? Maybe there's somebody listening who's like, man, I'd love to support. I'm a little bit nervous about this. I don't know how to handle it. What advice would you give people who are in that boat?
The only advice I have is if you have a yearning to try it, the lower levels are the place to do it. Go to the Y and referee a basketball game. Go to the Y and referee a soccer game. You want to come out on the field with me and see how it goes? You can stand next to me and we'll do it. Whatever. We need people to step up and start officiating. These lower levels are great because it's not serious. The high school gets a lot more serious, and you have to have very thick skin. I've seen it. I've been a part of that before. I've yelled a couple of things that I wished I wouldn't have yelled at high school officials.
It's honest.
My son congratulated me one time. He said, "Well, I have never seen somebody get a penalty flag from the stands for what they said." Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, but it wasn't
I
cussing.
think I was on that coaching staff at the
You
time.
might have been.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a friend of mine I yelled at.
Yeah.
So a little
Nice.
embarrassing moment for me. So I reined myself in. I was got caught up. So we all make mistakes, right? But yeah.
So
for
we're
people-
not looking for perfect people.
Right.
We're looking for willing people.
willing people to do it. And it is so much fun. If I could relate to people how much fun, you're right there in the action. The kids are fun. The coaches are fun. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Just step up and try it and see what happens. It's really
Well,
fun.
Yeah. And the thing is, what I love, and Nick, I'm going to kind of talk highly of you, takes his officials and he goes out and works with them before the season. And that's
Wow.
important. There aren't a whole lot of officials that do that. But Nick actually gets the boys together. They go out on the field. He works with them so they're ready to go for Sunday's game. He's always constantly instructing during the game. And I think that's huge. And I think if anybody wanted to try it, and they wanted to try it in Muscatine, and if Nick's the white hat, the head official, there's not a better person you'd want teaching at this level than Nick. And he takes the time to do that. Very appreciative of him.
You're very kind. I appreciate that. I still enjoy it. Like I said, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it. There's no place I'd rather be on a Sunday afternoon than on that football field. And hopefully it shows. I hope it shows.
It does show. And it helps that your wife gives us some money to make sure you're out there because she likes to have her Sunday afternoons by herself. So
There's an idea for listeners.
Is that where the extra money is going? Okay. I thought it was food for the 7 kids, but I guess, yeah, she's paying you off to
I
get
don't
me
know.
anything.
I don't know.
There you go. Nice.
So,
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for joining us.
This has been awesome.
You're
It has been awesome.
very welcome. I was very honored that you asked me, and I thank you. And like I said, I'm 7 years old. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, but I tell people as long as these stick legs will carry me up and down the floor and up and down the football field, I'll continue to do it because I really do enjoy it.
Well, I got to tell you, you don't, and I'm not just saying it, you don't look 70. You don't act 70. No, I'm being serious. I mean, I've known him my whole life. Honestly, I've known him my whole life. And you don't. You're healthy and active, and your retirement's good for you. So,
Yep.
Again, there's another plug to officiate. Go be a ref. You'll be young.
It gets
Officiate after you
Forever young.
It does
after
keep me
you
motivated
retire,
to
you
work out
can-
because I don't want to go out on the floor and be exhausted after 15 minutes. So it does keep me
It
motivated.
doesn't help when the kid's on the basketball court or at the other end, and as they're coming down after they scored at that end, and they're coming down, Nick's just starting up this end. That wouldn't look good, would it?
No. I still brag to my wife I can still run backwards on a basketball court.
Hey, that's something.
And she said I'm
That
tired
is
of hearing that. Yeah, I'm kind of proud of it.
Yeah. Well, Nick, thank you very much. Thanks for everything you do for kids, especially the Youth Sports Foundation. And we appreciate you being on here today with us.
Well, thank you.
And so, yeah, you brought some great knowledge. Fun podcast today. So, Aaron, you got anything you want to end with?
Jim, do you want to tell listeners what they can expect for our next episode?
We've got a track coach from Duran who's going to be on our next podcast since we're in the track season. Mr. Ross DeLong is going to join us. We're going to talk a little YSF track and all the years he's seen in the YSF track program. So should be fun. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
All
Thank you,
righty.
as always, for listening. Stay connected to us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, from the Sidelines Youth Sports Foundation. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.